Relationships are more important than ever. I don't think that we have the command and control type of organizations that used to be around, say, 10 or 15 years ago. More and more leaders are looking at servant leadership, and it's really important to get the most out of your talent. And the way that you do that is by having relationships with them and showing them that you care about them in the workplace, or showing them how they can do better with team leading exercises. You know, there's a quote out there that says, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I think that that quote is the cornerstone of the way business should be done nowadays. I have a formula for building relationships, whether it's the leader building relationships with the employees within the organization, or whether you're building relationships with your customers and clients. And I call it the R quotient. It is relatability plus rapport plus respect equals relationship. It's closely tied to the quote that I mentioned earlier, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Relatability is the knowing part. Rapport is the liking part. And respect is closely tied to trust. In fact, they work hand in hand. When we look at learning to be relatable, people will say, well, how do I become relatable with the person that I'm working with, or the person that I'm leading, or my customers and clients? And the thing that you have to understand, that being relatable is having a close association, or you're compatible with another person. And the way you find out how to be relatable to other people is to ask questions. Ask them about their needs. Ask them, you can even ask personal questions, as long as they're not too personal. But let's say you find out that your customer has a child that plays soccer, and you have a child that plays soccer. All of a sudden you have something in common, and that begins to build a relationship, because people want to be around other people that they can relate to and have something in common with. So it's a really good basic first stepping stone to building a great relationship. Rapport is the second step to building long-lasting relationships. And what you're trying to do when you're building rapport with another person is to find something that you're compatible about. It's building on the things that you found out about them in the relatability stage. This is where your personality and your character come into play. Basically, you're looking for that bond with the other person, whether it's someone you're leading or the customers and clients that you're working with. It's you showing appreciation and being generous, but most of all, it's really making the other person feel important. And don't we all want to feel important? And when we feel important, it's so much easier to build that rapport with the other person. But the biggest thing you have to remember is not being you focused. You're focusing on that other person, and you're doing things for the benefit of the relationship. Respect is when relatability and rapport work together, along with a commitment from you to the relationship and to doing the things that you say you'll do. So many times nowadays, people aren't following through with their commitments. They're arriving to meetings late. They're not showing up at all. They're canceling at the last minute. They're not making deadlines. So it's really important to be consistent and do the things that you'll say you'll do. It's also important to do things because they're the right things to do, not because you think, well, if I do this for that person, then they'll respect me or trust me. But really, you're doing things for them because you know it's the right thing to do. When you have rapport and relatability working together, and they can see a genuine interest or a genuine desire from you to work with that relationship and to show them that they are important, you can't help but have a long-lasting, long-term relationship developed. Once you have the relatability piece down, and you've built rapport with the other person, and you've gained their respect, the relationship begins to flourish. The way you get to that place is by completely focusing on the other person. It's not to say that you never ever talk about yourself, but a majority of your interest should be on the other person. It's purposefully planning how you're going to build that relationship. Most of us don't think about how to be on purpose, but if you want really good employees, if you want really great clients and customers, it's so important that you focus on them and plan how you're going to build that relationship.